Hello friends, it's Nicole here. Welcome to my channel. This month I am guest designing for my Creative Scrapbook kit, and I am going to be playing with Simple Stories Book Fair collection, as well as Prima Marketing chipboard, mixed media chipboard album to create a fun mixed media album. And so let's get started. I'm actually using shimmering matted acrylic paint from Perfect Paints, and I decided to go through to look at all the colors I had that would go with the collection, and the colors I have here are perfect. And the cover I'm using, for the cover I'm using Perfect Paints Peacock shade to cover the whole chipboard. Normally I would cover this with gesso first, but it doesn't really need it because it's a mixed media album. It really can hold the paint, and you don't need to do that. It takes a lot of time to cover these pages, to save yourself the work and just go ahead and slap that paint on there. It's so pretty. And so this is the most time consuming part of the album making, but it's so worth it. And I actually did this over a weekend just to set it up. I paint one page or the cover, and then come back in like 2 hours because I wanted to make sure it was good and dry before I went to the next color. And then, so now I'm going to do the back here, and I had this set for a little bit to dry. It got a little messy in my room, but I love playing with paint, and it's so easy. There's no right or wrong way of doing this. Just get a nice paintbrush and just paint. The only tricky part is just make sure you clean your brushes really good before you start with the next color. And I only had one decent brush, so that's really what I did. But because I was waiting in between the drying time, it wasn't a problem. And so now I am going with another color here, and I'm just going to paint this all yellow. Actually, it's a gold. I don't know exactly what color it is, but you get the idea. And so these are all the colors that are in Simple Stories Book Fair collection, and it does match perfectly. And I am going up and down using the brush so that I don't have any streaks, because if you're not careful and you press that brush down hard, you're going to get streaks, and I didn't want that. So you can see that here. So then I gently smooth it out from top to bottom, across the top there, and then don't forget to get the edges of the chipboard pages so they are not brown. And then I did go ahead around the edge of the cover with the gold, and then I rubbed some of it on the binding of the album, just for fun. You don't need to do that, but I like to just play with paint, so it's fun. And that is pretty much it for this, and I'm going to let it set and dry before going to the next color. And I washed the brush off, and it's still a little wet, but I'm going to be very careful when I color this one. And this is such a pretty color, so I am going to go ahead and put this down, the pink. Again, I'm not paying attention to the colors, but I'll link the products that I use to paint in the YouTube description if you wanted to take a look at that. But I'm just painting it just to get some color down. If you decide you don't want the paint and you want to use just a blank chipboard, that would work too. But for me, I love color and I love mixed media, and so I am just going to do that. And then I started to use a heat gun to try and speed up the drying process because I was kind of getting impatient and I just wanted to play, but it just didn't go. So it was just better to just paint one page, walk away for a couple hours, come back. And just, like I said, this takes the most time. But in the long run, it was so worth it because it's really pretty. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and put this color down. And I'm really not repeating any of the paint colors throughout the album except for the gold. So I had just the right amount of colors for this album. And I'm going to just dab that along the edges there, as you can see, to paint those edges. And then I love this. This is ballet slipper or something. It's really pretty pink. It's one of my favorite colors. So I'm going to go ahead and put this down. And as you can see the streaks, but that's okay. I'm going to gently smooth that out once I get the paint going. I'm covering that up here. But yeah, so that's good. And then I'm just go ahead and just use some of that excess off the brush to paint along the edges there. And then this one, I'm going to use the color this. This is such a pretty like pearl shimmer color. It's really pretty. And I was really surprised at how pretty it looked on the chipboard, because I was afraid that because it was a pearl, it wouldn't stand out much, but it's a bright color, so. And then I'm going to add some more paint. Actually, I did repeat one. So I'm going to repeat the peacock and the gold. And this was going to really wrap up the last 2 pages. I'm almost done getting this all set up. And I love this color. It's so pretty. I actually used up all of it, so I'm going to have to place an order soon. And then I'm just using the excess to scrape along the edges there. Like so. So pretty. I love it. Look at it. So pretty. Alright, and this is the last page. I'm going to go ahead and slap some color down. Super, super pretty. I just love this so much. It makes me so happy. Like, if you like mixed media, you understand. It's just a soothing process. Yes, it's time consuming, but it soothes my soul. And then for the end, so everything's dry now. I let it dry for a few days, actually, just set it there. I'm going to go ahead and bead the ribbon. And the nice thing about this mixed media chipboard album is it has like a gap between the pages and the spine, so that you could use a ruler to feed the ribbon through, so that it looks like that. And it's really great. So now I'm going to go ahead and we're going to decorate the cover using Simple Stories Camera Stencil. I love this stencil. It's my favorite. And I'm using the Crafters Workshop modeling paste. I think it's the Shimmering Pearl. I haven't played with this before, and I didn't realize I had it in my stash. So that was a nice surprise. And I'm going to go ahead and use a palette knife to pull it through the stencil, okay? Being careful not to slip the stencil, which is why I taped it down. And after that, I'm just going to dab acrylic paints all over. Now, I do realize this looks like a hot mess. And you're probably thinking, what in the world is she doing? But I promise you, when I lift that stencil off that cover, it's going to look amazing. I just love using this technique, and it's super fun. Look at that. So pretty. And I love the details of the little camera. So now I'm going to add some enamel dots and decorated brads to the center of the lenses on the camera. Just a few of them, not all of them. Just to add some more details to it. I had these in my stash. And so I'm just going to place them down here and there. And then I like to use foam stickers for titles on my album. I went with the books, but then I don't really like the way it looks. So I'm going to come back and switch that out. And the good thing is I didn't press that foam title down too hard, so I can move it off without ruining the paint. And so now I'm going to start decorating the album. Typically what I do is I have a format when I'm doing mini albums. And so I'll start with the cover and do all that. And then I decorate the left side of each page with embellishment. It's like a fun insert page, and there are no pictures on the left side of the pages. And it just makes it look nice. And so that's what I'm doing. I'm using stickers, and I'm using foam strips to add dimension by just putting the foam strip behind some of the stickers to pop them up a little bit. Super, super simple. And then I'm going to use some of the foam stickers here. And those are fun. And that's it. I mean, it's super simple. I like to keep it simple. Like I said, the most time I put in this thing is painting, and that was fun. And actually doing the central cover and maybe the embossing of the cut file. But it's fun. Okay, and then I'm just placing down all the stickers that I think I'm going to use. This took longer than it looks. I know it looks like I'm doing this really fast because I speeded up the video, but I spent like a good hour trying to figure out how to layer everything and where I want it to go because I'm so meticulous. And so I came back here and added some more stickers here, and I am going to redo the cover there. I like the book fair, and I was back and forth about that. I'm just going to use it because it's about reading, so I'm going to just put that there. And then I'm going to move these a little bit, and that's it. Alright, and now the fun part. I'm going to start making some pages for this album. I think the chipboard's like 7x5. I'm pretty sure that's the right dimension, but so I'm going to go ahead and cut the pattern paper down. This is a fun print, and I'm going to cut this down just a little bit so that it fits in there, and then I'm going to mount that down, and then center that, and then I'm just looking to see what I want to do. I'm going to go ahead and play with the cut file here, and I thought it would be fun to make it gold using embossing powder, and I'm using British Monroe's embossing powder and his ink, and so I'm dabbing the cut file with the embossing ink, and I'm making sure it's covered entirely with that embossing ink, and then covering it with the powder, and I'm not stingy. I just coated it, and now I'm going to go ahead and use a heat gun to heat that embossing powder so that it melts. And this is so fun. I haven't played with my embossing powders in a while, so this is kind of fun. And I like how gold that looks. So I'm just going to make sure that's good and it's all shiny. And that's how you know it's good, is the embossing powder is shiny. I did miss a little spot. It was white. So if that happened, just dab a little bit more of the embossing ink, add some more powder, and heat it again. You can do it multiple times. So I was going to add it there, but that pattern paper kind of took away from the prettiness of that cut file. So I'm going to just use it as a page and call it a day. And so I'm going to just glue this down here and add in the glue all around. It's a really fine cut, so I wanted to be very careful not to put too much glue because I didn't want the glue to seep through the ends, you know what I mean? So I'm going to go ahead and place that down here. Alright, I like that, it's fun. And I like the way it looks against the pearl. And then I was going to add some other embellishments, but I didn't really want to take away from the cut file, so I just left it. Alright, so now I'm going to try and figure out what I want to do here for the first page. I think I'm going to use this cut apart card and just put it on the front there. And line that up to the center. And then I knew I had a paper clip foam stickers, so I just put it right on the top there. Added some flowers, and then I'm moving along. And then I'm trying to think of what I want to do with this page. I do know that I want to make a flip page using the 3x4 cards. So I cut 2 cards so that they were connected, and then I used a burn folder to fold it in half. And that's going to be a flip, I think. I may not, but anyway, I forget what I did. But I'm just playing and just cutting out these journaling cards to figure out what I want to do, because I'm not really sure exactly how I want to do this. So this is another 4x6 cards that I cut together, and I created a flip page. And I'm going to go ahead and mat this 3x4 photo. Actually, I'm going to cut the photo down slightly so it fits within the 3x4 mat that I cut. And then I'm just going to stick that down here. And I I'm using this photo because this is my book club buddy, Leah. We read a lot together and it's fun. And so that's why I have that there. And a reading log. I'm gonna go back and write down some of the books we've read together. I love this owl, so I think I'm gonna do something with him. And then I'm gonna cut the best part out because it's taking too much space. And I'm gonna come back and do something with that. I'm gonna put the owl down here, and then I'm gonna come back and find a sticker and put that down here. There we go. And then I like the glasses, so I'm going to pop this up using foam stickers. Okay. And then the book here, that's fun. Just adding layers. And I typically will do this as I'm scrapbooking. I'll come back and add stuff to different pages. And I realized that I left that spot up there blank. I'm going to come back later and add a tag, cut it in half, and tuck it behind the top there just to fill it in because it looks like it's missing something, but I didn't pay attention to that when I started doing the video, but that's okay. Alright, so now I'm going to move along to this page here. That little bird with the cute the books and stuff is so cute. I love it. Alright, so now I'm going to go ahead and create another flip page, and I'm going to go ahead and mount this down. Okay. And then I'm going to go ahead and add this die cut to that card. Actually, is that the foam sticker? No, that's the foam sticker I didn't use for the cover, so I just put that on there. Okay, and now I'm going to cut the tag out. I love using these cut apart tags. They're super fun. Alright, I'm going to mount that behind the picture. Alright, and put that down here. And then I'm going to add some string. It just adds a nice homespun look. Or you can use ribbon, but I like the string. And now I'm looking for something to put in that flip part. And so I'm looking, and I'm going to use this and punch it with my hole punch here. And then I'm going to add some foam strips behind it and put it there. And then I cut a little piece of paper, pattern paper, down just because I feel like the top was hanging a little bit, and so I needed to fill it in a little bit with the white space there. And I think that worked out. And then let's go and move to the last page here. I'm going to go ahead and mount this photo onto the pattern paper and cut that around, cut it into a nice mat. And then I'm also going to cut another tag. I'm going to cut apart sheet and cut this down and punch a hole in it. I love these tags. And then I'm going to go ahead and mount that at the bottom there. And then place this down. Okay. And then I'm going to add some more string. Super simple, but it's so cute. I love how this looks. I hope you find this inspiring. And then I'm going to add foam stickers to the sticker here and add that up in the corner. And then I'm looking, because I feel like I need to add something up there, so I'm going to go ahead and glue this down behind there. And I like this. I'm going to use foam strips to pop this sentiment up. And I'm going to place that there. And add the star. Those stars are fun. Alright, and then I'm going to add a little tab at the top there. And then I was going to add another sentiment, but I felt like it was too much, so I left it off. And I feel like I need to fill in that space at the top. I feel like it's hanging. So I came back, and I'm going to cut down this pattern paper and just place that up the top there. And I think it works out great. It's super fun. I just love this so much. It makes me happy. And then I was looking to do something with this cut. And you could put like stickers in there. But I kind of just want to leave it the way it is. But I'm so fussy when I scrapbook. I just don't know when to leave things alone. In the end, I'm like, I'm just going to leave it alone. Alright, and now I'm going to create another layout. This is my little buddy. He's my reading buddy, Paco. And actually my other dog, Moxie, is usually right by my other side. So I'm going to go ahead and create a layout with him. And I'm going to cut another tag out. I love the pattern paper. It's so fun. So I'm following a theme here with the colors from the book, or the picture and the paint. It all kind of works together, and I do try and make sure my colors match up. And then I'm going to fussy cut this from the journaling card so that I could use it as an element for the layout, which is always something you can do if you're running out of embellishment that you can't really use. Go and look at your pattern papers and fussy cut images out. That's what I do, and it's such a great way to stretch your supplies. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and put this down and make sure I line that up so I don't cover what I need. I don't want to cover too much of the photo because I kind of want the book to show, because it's a book album. Alright, and then I'm going to go ahead and add some string. Cut that down. And then I'm coming back to this one. I love this little quote that I found online, so I'm going to use that on here as a page. And I'm going to go ahead and slap this down, mat it down, and then I'm looking for some other embellishments to work with this. So I'm going to go ahead and fussy cut the books and the flower, and I'm going to use those as accents to decorate this page. Okay, I'm going to mount this down, and I'm going to use a foam sticker to pop the books up, and then I'm going to cut the flowers out, being careful not to chop anything up because it's very easy to do. And cut that around, and I'm trying to leave a little bit of edge to it because it's such a fine detail, so that's good. And there is my album. I think it's coming along good, and then I'm just gonna add another star here, and that's my book. So I'm gonna go through, flip through real quick. I hope you found this inspiring. Thank you, My Creative Scrapbook Kit, for having me this month. I enjoyed making this, and I appreciate you looking and watching today. Have a great day. Take care.